The new season of The Girls. I'm here with my daughter, Janine. My daughter-in-law, Lori, can't join us this particular episode, but she will be joining us in the future, so you don't have to worry about it. She's just a little tied up right now, so she'll join us later. But Janine, don't you just love the time of the year that we're in right now?
October. It's right in the middle of pumpkin season and fall, and the best time of year to visit northeastern Pennsylvania with the fall foliage. I always, every time I say that word, I think of when I used to anchor the news and a lady called real mean and said that I said it wrong. So now I always say it wrong just to make her mad.
Oh, no. Well, it's not only about the fall foliage, but it's about the decorating and getting excited. The kids are back to school. It's the most wonderful time.
Sing it out.
Yeah.
Well,
so what a difference a year makes. I have this picture that I want to show you, and I looked at it today and thought, oh my goodness, it's a year old. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
That's our family picture from a year ago that we took
like
at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my Lord. Well, so much has gone on since then. But one thing that hasn't changed is the decorating. People have decorated since September 1st. I think in Brook Hill, they have the fall decorations up. And are you decorating it?
Yeah, I'm an early decorator because I feel if I don't do it when I have the time, then I won't do it. And it seems like there's a lot of holidays right in a row from September to December. So we squeeze all them in. So I have my pumpkins out, and I got my wreath business restarted. I usually do that from September through February. I'll show you one of the wreaths I'm working on. Now, this one is one that I am just starting, but it says woof. And I got these cute little ribbons. They actually just came in. So I'm just starting to work on this one, but I was actually making some different ones this year, but I have fall ones and Christmas ones, and then just my custom order ones. But it's fun. It keeps me busy. It's just fun. So that's my thing that I'll do fall through the winter. So yeah, so I'm excited about that, and decorating is nice. I love pumpkin seeds, so I'll be baking. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I'll bake the pumpkin seeds. Me and my kids love to eat them.
Yeah, I have a different project going this year. I'm downsizing everything. I'm like trying to clean out my house, give things away, trying to find good homes for things. So yeah, it comes a time after 47 years of marriage, you have too much. We just have too many things. So if you're listening, Janine, no more things for the house. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. No more gifts coming her way.
No more gifts. I don't need them. Give a gift to the American Cancer Society or to the Blind Association, or, somebody who needs the money. Use the money wisely, or keep it for yourself and make wreaths.
Well, this month in October, again, the girls are focusing on cancer awareness. We do know that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but we are focusing on cancer awareness. We're going to have several guests on, and our guest today is Jillian Datchko. She is from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. She is the second person in the world to have a clinical study, the second, and guess what? In the world, and she's from Tamaqua. She's going to talk about her journey with cancer. We're going to meet Jillian Dachko right after the break. You're watching The Girls. Stay with us.
Welcome to The Girls. I'm Deb Lasant, and my daughter Janine Lasant is with us. And today we have a very special guest, someone whose courage went beyond. We have Jillian Datchko with us, and she's coming to us from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show, Jillian.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to not only speak with us, but also to speak with our audience who's watching.
As everyone knows, as we said before the break, that this is a month dedicated to cancer awareness, not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but we, the girls, have decided to dedicate our shows to cancer awareness. And I know that you've had quite a journey throughout the past several years and were diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. So before we get to that, start us off at, how it started, what were your symptoms?
So 3 years ago, it was 2019, I started getting sick. I couldn't eat. Everything I ate came right back up. I was tired all the time, and not just like I needed a nap here or there, more like I was sleeping 18 to 20 hours a day, and I couldn't stop sleeping that much. So I wasn't able to eat much or keep anything down, and I started losing weight pretty fast. And my sister, well, my one sister, Jessica, got my sisters together and said, listen, we need to do something, and talk to my mom. Something's wrong with her. She's really sick. So one night I was getting ready for bed, and they showed up and took me to the emergency room. And the emergency room did a CAT scan and noticed that there were lesions on my brain.
This happened in January of 2019.
Yes.
Okay. And I know we're all home doing our show, and I know that your mom is with you, right? Your mom's there today with you. So from there, they diagnosed you with MS, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. My symptoms were identical to an MS diagnosis. Yes. So a couple months went by, and I was just getting worse. The treatments weren't helping for MS. They helped a little bit. They Band-Aid it. It was like putting a Band-Aid on it. Then they would send me home. Then I'd be home, and something new would happen. And after a while, it was like, okay, this isn't MS anymore. So they did a brain biopsy and confirmed that it was malignancy, and it was primary CNS lymphoma.
Now, something happened when we talked on the phone. You told me something happened during that time that you were actually taken for a second opinion, because in your support group, you were telling me that most people are misdiagnosed with this rare form of brain cancer at first. So what happened to you in the hospital when you're saying this is not MS?
So I was diagnosed with MS, and I was being treated for that. And it was helping, but I would go home and it would get worse. I would have a new symptom, and things just weren't adding up. It didn't look like MS anymore as it was progressing. So I was in the
what were some
hospital.
of your symptoms? What were some of the symptoms that made it different from MS?
I wasn't in the right state of mind. I would start to hallucinate. I was in a psychosis, basically. And it just...
You weren't yourself, right?
It
So
wasn't myself at all.
the medicine wasn't making you feel better. And I think at home, it's really, if you think something is wrong, then you're usually right. Despite what anyone says, you know your body the best, you know how you're feeling, if medicine is working or not, to some extent. I mean, you were in and out of the hospital. And then when they finally transferred you, and you had all these other opinions, and they diagnosed you with the rare form of brain cancer, then like what happened from there? Because is there treatment for that?
Yes. So what happened was I went back to the hospital. The last symptom that was sent me back to the hospital was I wasn't able to breathe. It started to shut down my functions. So I was basically gasping for air. I went back to the hospital. They put me in the ICU, and I was there for about a week. They had me stabilized, but just getting worse. They ended up flying me out to a different hospital, a research hospital, and that's who diagnosed me with the brain biopsy. Once they told me I had cancer, they had a plan ready. There's one form of treatment for my cancer that's approved for my cancer. So I went, started that, and it was working, it was helping. I went back for my 5th round of that chemo, and it had stopped working. I didn't have any outward signs, but on my scans, I was getting more lesions on my brain. So that stopped working. So it was basically, well, what do we do now? There's one treatment for this cancer. So I have been up and down the coast in clinical trials, seeing doctors. And last year, January of last year, I went to Boston, and Mass General Hospital was doing a trial for my cancer, and it was the CAR T therapy, and that has put me in remission.
That's, like I was telling you on the phone when we talked, I think that's amazing. First of all, this was a clinical study, right? So not a lot of
Yes.
people fit the mold to even go into this, right, Mom?
Yeah.
So like with studies and with talking about like the medical background, isn't that amazing that she even fit the mold to, like, some people fight for months to even be put into these studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
criteria.
We've said that, well, if I was going to get this cancer, I sure got it at the right time, because there were these trials going on. If I would have got cancer a year prior, I wouldn't have they wouldn't be around. So
what kind of a treatment then did they do? Was it radiation, or did they do
So
surgery?
I did have some radiation, brain radiation. But the CAR T therapy was, they take my cells out of my blood, my T cells. They give me the rest of my blood back. They send my T cells away to a pharmaceutical company, who then trains my cells to fight my cancer. And then they multiply them by millions and then inject them back into me. So when those cells got injected back into me, that's exactly what they did. They went right to my brain and fought the cancer.
It just is totally amazing that that can be done in this day and age of all the other miraculous things that are occurring, but to be able to take your cells and actually train them to go right to your brain to do exactly what they want them to do.
Right.
And how much faith did you have during that course of the time to say, is this going to work? Like, what kept you up?
2 things. My faith, prayer, and just knowing that people from all over were praying for me. Churches that I didn't even hear about were praying for me, or didn't even know about were praying for me. That was huge. And the power of prayer is strong. And I've learned that through my journey, what faith could do. And the other thing that kept me fighting was my son. He's 14 now. He was 11 when I was diagnosed, and I wasn't gonna leave him. So I fought every day for him.
That's the most frightening thing, I think, when you're a mother or a parent, but to have children and to find out that you're ill. I think the most frightening thing is taking care of your children. You know, who's going to take care of your children, and that thought that overwhelms you gives you that fight. How quickly did you start seeing improvement?
When I got the CAR T therapy?
When you got the therapy.
So when I got the CAR T therapy, the cells went right to my brain and started fighting, and it was literally a war going on in my brain. So it was a lot of rough, rocky times, scary times before I got better, because my brain swelled. I lost my vision because my brain swelled so much that my ocular nerve was crushed, and they didn't know if I would get my vision back. I lost mobility of my left side. the left side of my face, my arm, my leg. I had to learn how to walk again. I still have weakness on my left side because the CAR T did save my life, but it caused some brain damage because it was so crazy what went on in my head. Now, the trial that I was in, I will say this. The trial I was in, I was the second person in the world to receive this treatment for my cancer.
Oh my God.
So we didn't know how it would turn out. And the person who was before me, he was literally a month before me. So we didn't even have his progress to gauge on. He's doing fine as well. And, you know, I do have this disability now, but I'll take it over not being here. So,
Right, because you have the ability to be here.
yes.
What is there? You said there was a brain damage and whatever. So were there additional MRIs done? Did it shrink the tumors?
Oh,
Did it
yes, they're
destroy the tumors? What
completely
happened?
gone. They're completely gone.
Completely gone.
Yeah.
And
So-
do they know if there'll ever be a recurrence? Do you have to have follow-up care with that?
Yeah, I have follow-ups every 3 months. It is a possibility that it'll recur. But we just live every day that I'm blessed to be here. You know, I have faith. The further away I get from the cancer, the odds get better. So yeah, I just go for checkups. I don't dwell on it, and I just live my life and be happy.
Was it one treatment, just one injection of your T
Just
cell?
one of my injection of my T cells. Yep.
Jillian, so you're
amazing.
cancer free now. We come back. We're going to continue our conversation with Jillian Datchko. Again, this month on The Girls, we are focusing on cancer awareness. We'll be right back. You're watching SSP TV.
Welcome back to The Girls. We have an amazing person as our guest today. We have Jillian Datchko with us. She's coming to us from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. She's a living miracle.
Yeah.
This girl's a living miracle. And if you're just joining us, you missed her story about how she had a primary CNS tumor of the brain, and she went through some experimental treatment. She's only a second person in the world to have this done. And it worked. So we're continuing on now. Janine, you wanted to ask her something.
Oh, I think it's like you won the lottery. You hit the lottery. When people are talking about the lottery, it's like with your life, how do you view and look at life differently since you went through such a traumatic, life-changing experience?
Well, I could tell you that I try not to stress over little things. I do have anxiety. I mean, everybody has anxiety, but I kind of get over things a lot quicker. I don't dwell on them. I know that there's bigger things in the world that we need to worry about.
It changed you, I guess,
It
emotionally,
did.
physically. You look very, very healthy. Thank God. You have beautiful, thick head of hair. You did tell us that you did lose your hair. Your hair grew back.
Yeah.
So you had to go through all the ups and downs of all the emotions associated with that. And you said that your faith had helped take you to this point. So where did you reach out to the American Cancer Society? The finances, I'm sure, even though it was an experiment and you were in that group, lucky enough, there had to be financial strain on your family, which is traveling and other things.
Yeah, there was, especially because we traveled far. My family would have to stay in hotels, and when I was in hospitals all up and down the coast. So I didn't reach out to the American Cancer Society. There is many programs available through the American Cancer Society, but I didn't feel that I needed them at the time for a couple reasons. One, my family did fundraisers for me. A local restaurant did a fundraiser for me, and my mom's distant cousins they all got together, all her distant cousins, and they all sent her money to cover all the travel expenses for her while I was in the hospitals. So I didn't feel like I needed to reach out, but those are available. Those resources definitely are available through the American Cancer Society.
Now, following you for the last couple months, or I should say a year, and following your journey, I was happy to see that you received the Courage Award. And that's what really prompted me to reach out to you, because going through such a hard time, going through 2020, going through COVID,
Oh yeah.
it hasn't been an easy road. So how did that Courage Award come about, and what does it mean to you?
Oh my goodness. When I was told that I was awarded the Courage Award, and if I would accept it, I was shocked. I was thrilled that I was nominated. But I look at it as anyone who's battling cancer deserves the award. I was thrilled. I actually have it here if you would like to see
Yes.
it.
Of course. Look at this.
And they had a ceremony. Did you have to say a few words? What were in
Oh,
those
yeah.
words that you had to give?
Yes, it was during the cancer telethon. They awarded me with it, and it was on TV. It was on the telethon broadcast it, and my whole family was there. Everybody was there when they gave me the award. It was a nice ceremony that they had.
I'm so happy that we were able to have you on the show to highlight, this rare form of brain cancer that you have, how you beat it, I love saying cancer free.
Yes.
What does
I
the
do too.
follow-up look like for that?
So I go every 3 months up to Boston, and I get MRIs and blood work, and they test my brain fluid. I have a port in my head. That's probably the coolest thing I have from this whole journey. I have a port in my head where they just stick a needle and take fluid out of my brain. And they test that and just make sure that everything looks good. There's no cancer cells, no malignancy, nothing showing on the MRI. And I'm going to do that for 15 years.
This is what your money is doing.
Yeah.
This research is saving lives. It's eradicating the particular kinds of diseases that before were inoperable. And I lost my mother to brain cancer 15 years ago.
Oh,
That would have been wonderful, to have that.
I
It
love
was
you.
inoperable.
Jillian, thanks for being on the show. Stay in touch with us. I know you're on Facebook. I will put it out there if anyone, wants to reach out to you, or if they're suffering or battle with a loved one, or actually have cancer themselves. Maybe they need someone to turn to for some advice that maybe my mom and I can't relate to. If they have any questions, I know that you've been so open with your story and have already helped so many people get through with their own journey. So thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, honey. God bless you.
And we'll
Wish you
see you
many
next
years of
time
good
right
health.
here on SSP TV.